Today, we've got a really personal story for you. It's all about how life's biggest, most unexpected detours can sometimes lead you to exactly where you need to be. It's a journey that starts with this huge, world-changing idea and ends with finding a quiet, powerful sense of peace.
And it all comes down to this one decision. This story is such a great reminder that a lot of the time, the biggest hurdles we have to jump aren't out there in the world. They're the ones we build inside our own heads.
So, let's dive in. Our story kicks off in Germany with a really ambitious plan. This was an idea that had the potential to change lives in some of the most vulnerable places on Earth. The idea was, honestly, brilliant. She and her business partner came up with this incredible, sustainable startup. The plan was to be like a second wave of help after a natural disaster. They'd ship a portable factory in a container, use the actual waste from the disaster site, and then hire local people to help rebuild their own communities. Powerful stuff. So they did all the hard work. They went through the whole development process. They pitched the idea. And just when things were finally starting to get some real momentum, life threw a massive curveball that brought everything to a screeching halt. The whole carefully built plan just fell apart when her business partner got pregnant. And with a project this intense, taking a short break just wasn't in the cards. So the dream was over, forcing a complete 180 in her life's direction. But you know how it goes. From the ashes of one dream, a totally new reality started to take shape, this time right in the heart of the Czech Republic. Now, her journey wasn't just a simple A to B move. After the startup dissolved in Germany, she first went all the way back home to Brazil to kind of regroup. But just a few months later, she and her 4-year-old son took this huge leap and moved to Prague to start a brand new chapter. So what was waiting for her in Prague? Well, get this. A reunion with her high school sweetheart, Vinny, after being apart for 20 years. Together, they started building this new family life, and Prague turned out to be the perfect spot for it. It's a city packed with multinational companies where English is the language of business. You'd think moving across the world with a young child would be the hardest part, right? Well, it turns out that was nothing. The real challenge was totally internal, a fear she'd been carrying around for years. And this is where it gets really interesting. You've got this huge internal tug-of-war going on. On one side, there's this deep-seated fear of making mistakes when she spoke English, a fear that would, as she put it, activate her monkey mind, that little voice of self-doubt that just chatters away. But on the other side was her lifelong dream, to live and work in Europe surrounded by all these different cultures. The fear and the dream were standing directly in each other's way. So, to get a job, to build the life she really wanted with her family, she knew she couldn't avoid it anymore. She had to make one single, absolutely terrifying decision: to face that fear head on. And you know what? That one brave choice started paying off almost immediately, and not just for her. As she was starting her new journey, her young son was on his own incredible path of adapting to this new life. She totally nailed it. She landed a finance role in a super well-respected international company. She was finally in the exact kind of place she had always dreamed of, working with people from all over the world. So while she was navigating her new career, her 4-year-old son was on his own little fast-track journey. He was enrolled in an international school, so he was just thrown right into the deep end of a whole new language. Pretty quickly, they discovered this, it's a kind of a hilarious but also pretty urgent problem. Her son's name, Paco, sounds exactly like a Czech word that's, let's just say it's not very nice. It's basically slang for an idiot or a fool. So yeah, something had to be done about that. And in this just amazing moment of self-awareness, her 4-year-old son chose his own new name to use at school and with his friends. And from that day on, he was John. And his adaptation was, wow, it was just astonishing. He showed up knowing basically zero English. Within just 2 weeks, he wasn't just speaking the language, he was playing in it, thinking in it. He even started asking his mom how to say certain English words in his native Portuguese. So, this brings us to the final part of her journey, which is all about the really profound emotional outcome of all this chaos and reinvention. By facing down her fears and nailing her 2 main goals, getting her family together and landing a job in Europe, her entire perspective just shifted. She felt like any challenge that came her way from that point on, she could handle it. Everything else was a bonus.
So when you step back and look at it, the failure of her original, carefully planned out idea was actually the thing that led her to a different and maybe even deeper kind of success. It wasn't the life she planned for, but it was the one that brought her true fulfillment. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? That feeling of being complete, of finding peace, it didn't come from a business plan or a startup. It came from resilience, from love, and from the incredible courage it takes to build a new life when the old one crumbles. And that leaves us with a great thought to chew on for ourselves, right? It's just a powerful reminder that sometimes the plans that fall apart are the ones that guide us exactly where we were meant to be all along. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.